Hey guys, it's Dr. Setups actually, and well, I feel like nobody's made a Sindel-Tremor guide, so I want to be the first to show everyone how to optimize this team to kind of get like the most out of it. I'm not going to be covering every little thing you could do, but I will be covering like the basics, some set play options, and e- maybe a little bit of counterplay even, but it's kind of hard to deal with this team when she's full screen. But then again, it's also easy at the same time. It depends on how your opponent is playing versus you. So, may I guess we could start with the full screen stuff first. So, from full screen, you can use Tremor to block projectiles. They did recently nerf Tremor. So, what you want to do is only use it to like block projectiles out, like end up giving your opponent a combo, like a Sub-Zero Ice Ball if it's too late to block that, or something like that. But most of the time, you're going to want to reflect their own projectiles back at them if you can time it right. So, that's kind of why Crystalline is pretty good. I personally like to stay around Aftershock, however, for this, since you could set up an Inspire after the low or the overhead one. Cupid, the current number one Sindel, uses the overhead one, and I feel she does that to counter people jumping, like over the low, and it also gives an option to like shut down almost like a hard to blockable from full screen, like kind of like this, and they cannot jump over. The only thing they can do is like move forward and block low, which is going to be pretty hard to do. And even then, they're forced to take chip. A lot of Sindel's like range game is trying to, in my opinion, how I play her. Mind you, I'm not the best player. I'm just trying to inform people who don't really know this character. I struggle with like matchups because I don't know every character in this game, but I am a Sindel main and I try my best. So yeah, say you're zoning. What I like to do is I like to force my opponents to want to jump at me so I can anti-air them. But Sindel has weak, is on like the weaker end of anti-airs. Obviously, we have your standing two, standing one, which is really hard to convert off of. I've only converted it off of it a few times online, and forward one for longer range. So you'll like check them with forward one. Um, so once you have them jumping at you, then you can start like air to airing or anti airing, of course, right? Your main game plan is really just trying to control space, pretty much. Like, it doesn't matter if he's really hit or blocked, but I like to have them blocked personally because the little chip adds up over time, right? Like, you can see it's already added up quite a bit. Um, so that's pretty much for full screen game. You can also, of course, use armor to set up an Inspire as well. So yeah. When it comes to around here, floating is going to be a great option to kind of snuff out a lot of people's anti-air options, and they can't really deal with this, so I could just kind of jump in, float, drop down, move around. They try to, like, Fatal Blow, I could move away, or if their Fatal Blow hits full screen, I could just move behind them. Of course, this is just basic Sindel stuff. Of course, you also want to mix it up. This one is obvious. If you've already know Sindel, you want to mix it up. Um, I'm going to say I'm not doing a full Sindel guide. I'm doing a Sindel-Tremor guide. So, why is this important? Because Tremor, in general, helps us out as well, because you can instantly call a low. So if they're trying to dash in, and you can't react fast enough, you could just call the low. Just interrupt them. I can't convert off of that because I'm bad, but yeah. Uh, Another thing you could do is, especially if you have crystalline, or if your execution is strong enough to be able to use like Metallica this way, You can throw out screams and kind of have tremor there if they try to punish you. You can also just do this on block in general, but this is just tremor stuff, right? That's extremely plus. It's like plus 10 there. You can also check them with your sweeps, of course. Your sweep is actually a very underrated button with Sindel players. I don't understand why a lot of Sindels don't use this. I love just checking people with this. Because this is -4 with all this pushback. Like, this is amazing. Of course, you're down 3s as well. Don't forget about that. But that's what we're more about right here. Alright, let's get into the nitty-gritty stuff. The dirt. The nasty stuff. Actually, before we get to the nasty stuff. No, wait, let's just get to the nasty stuff right away. So, let me set this to crystalline. Yep. Now, you have them blocking. Now, that was a low right there. That was the low option. So what happened is the low hit first, and then you go for the overhead. And you want to, how you combo off with this is use a 2-4. So you'll levitate 2-4 into scream, and it'll immediately pick them up. Then you just combo. Now the 4-4 combo is a bit different here, since they popped up a little bit, so you're just gonna do 2 4-4s here. Or drop it like I did, but 2 4-4s there. And when you notice they're blocking the love that the overhead, you move back a bit. What I did here was you wanna, unless you're able to consistently do this without moving back, I would suggest move back like a tiny bit to make it seem like you're going to call it. And then you can get your combo. So, you'll just straight up, what I like to do is I like to straight up go for this. Something like this, maybe. Or... this is my personal route right here. I use this route because it makes hitting the 2 4-4s here very easy. Then you can dash up and mix again. Now, you might have seen this one as well. And the reason why I'm not covering this, you only do this if you know your opponent can't fuzzy it. Like if they block it perfectly the first time, I would not do it again. It's a waste of tremor, in my opinion, because it is fuzzyable. Of course, like if they aren't blocking it, go for it. Like you're gonna get a lot of damage. You're getting your mix-up, you're getting mix-up in quotation, I mean. You're getting a lot of good stuff, so. Yeah. That's one of the hard to block. But your main hard to blockable is this one. The one off the back too, on hit or a block. Also, you can, speaking of that hard to blockable, if they're trying to up block you, you see if they're trying to up block you like this, you can actually use Tremor to shut down the up block. Also, in the corner, when you have this combo, you do jump 1 levitates. Alright. So, let's talk about kind of how Tremor Inspire with Tremor kind of works. And, like, how recovery happens. Like, cameo gauge recovery. So, the thing about this is, when Tremor swaps, even when he has Inspire on, it will like make the cameo gauge recover slower. So what you want to do, if you're going to use Inspire, you're going to want to use it at the end of the combo. Or yeah, of course you're going to want to use at the end of the combo. You're going to use, what I mean is, you're going to want to swap Tremor at the end of the combo so you can get more cameo gauge back. And, like, more cameo gauge back faster. Sorry, let me, demonstrate. Okay. Now I'm just being stupid. like that. And it is pretty much safe. Tremor can't be hit there, and you're able to like pressure afterwards. Or what I like to do is I like to jump because a lot of people like to armor there. At least for me, I like to just jump and levitate, or do a jump kick levitate and to jump kick again. Uh, yeah. So what you can kind of you can also when you're ending combos, you can also kind of do that. You could also kind of call this inspire and do this to kind of like set it up. See, because it is minus technically, but it's still safe. I'm -1 there. Now if I were to do this version, I'm -8, but with all that pushback, nobody's punishing me. However, in the corner, you might get punished for that. So what you could do is if you already have Tremor, force them to block, right? So you kind of force them to block the launcher, or else, you know, they're getting launched. And you can even combo like this. It's hard, hold up. Uh... What I would just recommend doing is just regular Inspire, because that's actually pretty easy to combo off of with practice. And you can even get like a whole hard to blockable setup off of this meterlessly. If you have the execution to get the 2 4-4s, that is. Or you could do something like this maybe. Well, this is 1 bar, but still, that's a pretty hard blockable setup. They're forced into it. Right. One more hard to blockable setup you could try. I personally don't like it. You could do that. So this is just hauling Tremor from like Aftershock or Crystalline with down, and then just tapping back cameo and jump kicking, right? So this would be like down and then like back, or just back. Right? Or down the back, or just cameo and then back cameo. That's just one thing. There's more to this cameo, of course. Like, here's like a pressure idea if you want to try it. He can give you throw combos if you do them right. Cupid hit me with a few of these. But yeah, when you're wanting to swap Tremor over to like Crystalline or maybe Metallic, depending on like what you're trying to get out of Tremor, you want to swap to Tremor at the end of the combo. You don't want to do it mid combo unless his cameo gauge is already about to be full or is full. Make sure to use Tremor to keep yourself safe off of some of these buttons, because like this is not safe. Even there it wasn't safe. Wow. Now it's plus, but still, you gotta be mindful of how you use your Tremor. And don't block up too many projectiles with him. If you're going to do anything against projectiles, do this. Now, another thing is dealing with... another way to deal with up blocks, going back to this, you can use back 3. This is something I love to do with back 3 to deal with up blocks. Yeah, there, he gets your safe jump, but I can't do a safe jump for the life of me. Okay, wow. Oh my god. Yeah, so... you can... Tremor is a very strong cameo, but I do feel he lacks in some areas, of course, like... I feel personally he lacks for zoning a bit more than Lao, because Lao gives you more consistent, like, low projectiles, which is very strong, because I personally love to force chip on them with a low and an overhead project, or a low and a high projectile, kind of like this. Because if they try to jump over that, they're going to get clipped, and that's more damage for me and stuff. There's more set play, actually. We could talk. This is pretty much the same as the back two one, but you do it with back 2-3. So it's either call tremor or not call tremor. There's also this. Not that, but it's kind of like this, but you do the hard to blockable with the projectile. It's pretty hard to demonstrate. Yeah, you see how it canceled there? Then you go for this, the hard to blockable. It's not a real hard to blockable, but it is something that is pretty hard to block for like a round ender. And you can also confirm off of like stuff like this. If you accidentally like do like a low hairball like off of 4-1 on block, like without when you didn't confirm it fully, you could do that. Yeah, Tremor is very fun, very very strong, but it doesn't fully cover her main weakness of not having a strong mid to check them with, because the fastest one she has is 14 frames. 4-1 does not count as a mid because the first two hits are highs. Please stop saying Sindel is broken because 4-1 is so strong. The amount of times I would get like poked out of this is so obnoxious that it makes me want to explode or something. I don't know. Yes, that's about it for the guide. I hope you guys enjoy it. And I hope I helped a little bit. Sorry for not really putting inputs. Let's go over them real quick. Oh, one more thing. You can use, that to reset neutral on block. I think it jails off a lot of things. Why is he still on up block? Okay. Yeah, pretty much you can kind of use that to reset neutral. And it's really good because of the pushback. Again, Sindel wants to play, in my opinion, like right around here where she could back off the zoning if she needs to. And if she needs to like chip you out or something, and she could just chip you down with this and like your lows and all kinds of stuff. Also, the throw. Go with the throw. Hold up. This throw is super strong. It leaves very close, so you can like check them with a down 3 if you're fast enough. I genuinely struggle to do this personally. So what I like to do is I like to kind of walk out 4-1 to break armor, but then again that gets outpoked, and that's when I like to just wait and then whiff punish him with 4-4, because 4-4 is probably one of my favorite mids for punishing outside of back 2. We all know why I like back 2. If I don't drop it. So this is really very, very specific. You have to wait until right before they touch the ground, and then you can like dash up. I was getting this like perfectly the other day, so let me try. Boop. There we go. That's it. I'm not sure. And also, of course, don't forget about just doing stuff like this. But then again, just do low hairball. It's safe. And you can use your tremor armor to cover you, or tremor to cover you from getting punished if you want to armor after stuff like that. See? Yep, that's the Sindel-Tremor guide. There's not really much else I have to say about it, other than you kind of, when comboing, if you want to go for a hard to block pool, do not pop them up, unless, like, your cameo is not ready, which will kind of lock them into taking it, rather than having more options and on wake up, like delay wake up and stuff. But yeah, you can still hard blockable here, like that. I do this quite a bit if I'm not able to do a regular like hard blockable setup. Yes. Love you guys. Now I'm actually going to end this because I pretty much covered everything. Other than stuff like this, which only really big use it has for it is outdone by Aftershock, but she would use it like maybe there. And the reason why it's done is better than, or Aftershock covers it, is because of that. The keeping you safe on things. But this is significantly more plus. That's hard blockables. You can also set up tremor armor and stuff. You get a lot of like just safety with tremor, but there's probably definitely more I could go into, but this is pretty much what I use. And it's fun. It's difficult for sure. It takes getting used to, but once you get it down, it shouldn't be terribly like you drop it all the time unless you're on a really bad connection. It's not like if you think of Tekken, like Nino butterfly loops or perfect electrics. It's more of like a back one loop, if that makes sense. It's still very difficult. You're still gonna need to take a bit to get used to, and yeah. Do make sure you know that when you're going for the harder blockables, you want to be in either crystalline or metallic. Specifically, the ones with this this low specifically. And metallic is going to be harder because you need to do down cameo to get it. But if you do get it, bam. Um, yeah, you get a lot of snaps and stuff. So, anyways, for now, this is all I have for you guys. Love you guys. Bye.